Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Spearhead cast. With me, Matt. Got a fight here on two towns. With, well, let's have a look at the players then, shall we? On the Wehrmacht side, you have BH-18, playing as the Wehrmacht, as the Leichte Division. And Shadowskyer, also as the Wehrmacht, who has not picked a commander yet. We'll get back to him shortly. On the Soviet side, you have Mandraki, or just Draki, as the Soviet Union's Shock Division. That's going to be very handy. And we also have Ayanami as another Soviet who has not picked a commander yet. We'll keep an eye on that too. Well, it looks like that BH-18 is starting out with a Volksgrenadier. Double Volksgrenadiers, actually. This should be interesting early on. Shadow is doing the same. He's not opting to go for an actual Grenadier to support his Volks. He's using Volksgrenadiers. Ayanami is slowly pushing up. Get to pick a commander. Raki is pushing up with conscripts. 3 conscripts, actually. That is a lot of conscripts. Will allow him to take a lot of ground easily. Conscripts from Ayanami too. Shadow with double Volks is trying to secure this town here. Now, 2 towns should be very interesting because it's essentially mirrored with the towns across from each other, and you can have some very interesting engagements later on. We're gonna definitely see a lot of fighting here and around here, I wager. Looks like Shadow is doing a lot better at getting his town fast. But the Soviets have also gotten their town really fast and are already moving ahead. They're good at. It looks like Shadow has picked Ostlegion. Yeah? Ostdivision. Very defensive commander. He has 716 Volksgrenadiers. And Ama has not yet picked commander, but he's getting Strelki off onto Viki. These guys are better trained than the conscripts and can actually put up a fight against the mainstay infantry of the Axis. That's a good choice, generally. We're gonna have our first engagement here. The Volksgrenadiers of BH-18 have engaged the Soviet conscripts, throwing a bun flash in their way. As the conscripts are trying to push up, we're getting straight into enemy fire. Oh, and that grenade killed them.
Brave infantry have made the ultimate sacrifice.
Let's see what goes on here. We have a lot of heavy engagements in this area, as I imagined. It looks like Shadow's Volksgrenadiers are in a bit in a worse position here. Soviets pushing up. Actual Grenadiers coming in now. 90th Grenadier Division. Another grenade is coming in. Oh, that one might have hurt. Oh, and that Steel Hand Granada killed them. Oh, that's dangerous. He's getting more conscripts to replace, which is the advantage of the Soviets. They can replace a lot easier. Looks like the Germans entrenching into both the towns. Or in that town. Well, the Soviets are entrenching in this town. Another grenade. A good job of the Soviet pulling out just in time. Well, he's even getting a flamethrower. That's a very smart play for the town.
Fresh conscripts have arrived.
Still no commander for Yanama, but he's getting a Maxim. Well, the Soviets are trying to get into this town here. Not working so well for them currently. And because he's Ostdivision, he can actually arm his Volksgrenadiers with Stoll and PBSH-41s, which can be very handy later on, especially in this close quarters engagements. And we have an MG-42 coming up too, right inside that building. Good choice. Germans still have a very small amount of troops here, but it's not going to work in the long run, I think. They need to focus on getting out of there. As more conscripts are coming in. He's getting more grenadiers though to replace. Oh, we have a mortar coming in from the Soviets. BH-18 is using a lot of munitions on grenade strikes and similar. Having a very tough fight here for the town by the looks of it. But the Soviets are getting more and more ground. Slowly pushing through the buildings and replacing their numbers. attention should probably consider pulling back and healing up. These units are not going to be very useful with only 2 men each. Well, they seem to have the Soviets have a little bit of a look at the defenses. The Ost Division has definitely dug in heavily on this part of the town. Not going to be easy to dislodge them. Similar, it's not going to be hard to dislodge the Soviets now with mortar support. The agents should probably pull those units back. Sorry, pulling those back. And the Soviets are getting up fortified positions here, which should increase their manpower income. Still no commanders from Iron Army. Perhaps he's waiting. And Diaz is definitely in position and just waiting there. Like the Soviets, Iron Army has teched up though. And a mortar strike there hit the Grenadiers. I think we're gonna see a rifle grenade. Yeah, we are. Just hit the roof of the building, son of much. At the Fontoviki trying to make an assault here. Not the best choice out in the open, but the mortar support is helping. Ooh, that's a very weak position. Only 3 of them. Got the Volks coming out here. Trying to aid in the fight for the center. Then Maxim needs to turn and actually set up. And then we also see one flasher coming in as Maxim, which did not turn around in time. But it's just outside the range. It's literally just outside the range. But then another one flasher comes in. We also have an artillery strike coming in because the Germans have called in a command gun here. A command car. Ugh, that's what it's called. Ugh. My English.
Mechanized assault group awaits your order to deploy, Commander.
It's also getting an open blitz, I believe. The Ost Division has even set up a bunker here and even called in on a unit of Osttruppen. Drop the defenses. That Dushka is in a very bad position moving out in the open like that. As the Pioneers are behind heavy cover, and that is a negative cover right there. Which makes it an easy target for the Pioneers, but it still causes a lot of damage just because it's a 50 cal. It's a Dushka after all. You have some sappers coming in from Draki. Oh, the Volks Grenadiers are coming into the town now. The buildings as their cover platform.
You need something built?
Command. Oh, that's Double Blitz that's moving. Moving around to support, to reinforce, I assume. And now the Dushka set up in a position here to open fire on the buildings. That's gonna be fascinating. The Soviets in the push here by the looks of it. That's gonna allow the BSH arm the Volks Grenadiers to push up at this side. There's nothing to stop them. Now that's trying something here to try and stop them. It's not gonna be enough, I wager. The Soviets getting too close because those are PPSHs. But I did get pinned by the Maxim. Yeah, those ones are really being brave there, but that's because the Germans are pinned. Oh, but they took out the Maxim. That means they can take out the other Fontoviki. And well, we have the engagement still here. Those sappers have actually done really well for Draki already. Oh, that mortar still causing a lot of hurt on them.
Enemy artillery ready to fire.
I really believe Ayami should try and pick a commander now. But now the Grenadiers in the buildings, and the Grenadiers are a lot better at long range than the Volks Grenadiers, as you can see. Already cutting down those sappers. He has some actual shock troopers in though, being armed with a full load of PPSH-41s.
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
Definitely gonna have a little bit of engagement here in the town. Ooh, that guy just got downed. Using the Russian sandbags against them. Soviets are still holding on pretty well here though. They have not lost a lot of men, in all honesty, because the shock troopers are just that well trained and armored.
Enemy forces are capturing
Now the
our
mortar
supplies.
striking into. And now that is dangerous. That's 4 PPSHs. You should not underestimate the PPSH at any range. That thing is a very deadly weapon. Ah, and that's why Harris armed with them. But he's also taking the sender with them. That's allowing the Soviets to take this point again. Ah, they got pinned. Did an MG set up? No, it might have been a rifle grenade that hit them. And those conscripts got mowed down in the open there.
Another infantry squad.
Let's see what's going on with these players. We have a 2-2-2 and the command vehicle coming in. Getting down to the Russians out in the open here. Oh, that mortar though. But that's not going to be enough to stop the Volks Grenadiers. Well, that fortified position is surprisingly helping. So it has at least retained that ground for the most part, but the Germans are pushing up further. The Volks Grenadiers now being armed with MP40s.
We have a fresh half-track at our disposal.
We have a T-34 coming in though for Ayami. And a T-34 coming in too for Draki, I believe? Yes. The T-34 should allow them to push back briefly. As long as they don't get too close to the German vehicles.
Death before retreat.
No vehicles yet from Shadow. PH-18 has gotten an assaultment of light vehicles, which should be expected, because he's playing as the light division. But with the T-34s on the field, things can change.
T-34 ready for
Ayanami still needs to pick a commander though. Oh, we also have some 90th Panzer Grenadiers pulling the light vehicles. These guys are generally really good frontline troops that works very good in conjunction with vehicles and assaulting.
I got that bastard.
That should work. That should probably suffice really well. But the T-34 might be too much for them. The Soviets just need to not get too close.
The enemy has
Already they're being pinned. But they managed to get close enough with the Panzerfaust. But the 221 was still taken out. And the T-54 is still alive. And these guys are armed with Panzerfausts. The Germans have nothing here to stop the tanks. Now the Soviets really need to pull on their newfound advantage here if they can. But mortar fire is being heavy on both sides here. We have a 19th Panzer Grenadier mortar division, mortar group as well. We also have a mortar half-track, I believe. We do. We have a squad of Panzerjägers coming out now for PH-18. Try and counter those T-34s. This is best used in ambush positions or in urban environments. It can do well in the open if you get them in a good position, but it's very hard. They tend to get shot down out in the open really easily. So it's moving back into the town to try and retake it. But that's a very bad position. Germans are very well entrenched.
You can now use propaganda against the enemy again. Brave infantry have made the ultimate sacrifice.
Grenade coming in on them. Oh yeah, that's not doing well. And what's that mortar doing?
Grenadier squad is ready. Fresh guards troops are standing by.
Oh, but that mortar. Oh, that mortar's getting good kills. Good value.
We are losing Soldaten.
Oh yeah, B-18 just lost some, all these Volksgrenadiers there. And now the Soviets are retaking this town. But it's allowing Shadow to try and move up again with his Osttruppen. This town is firmly in the hand of the Soviet Union again. The T-34 can really change the tide of battle sometimes. There are still some German stragglers inside the town though. A unit of normal grenadiers. They're working still on repairing. That mortar though is getting in a very bad position. Now the T-34's on the move. I'm not sure what the mortar is doing. But the sheer amount of Strelki or Frontoviki coming in is dangerous. Now the Panzerjägers are coming up. Oh, one shot the mortar destroyed it! The hill's blocking the Panzerjäger shot.
We are losing a sector.
Oh, B-18 is in trouble there. But the Shadow is pushing up towards the village. They need to get that Panzerfaust up. Oh, but they're not going to be able to. The Frontoviki are stopping them.
We have lost this.
This is not a good sign for the Germans here. One shot behind the T-34 and that mortar half truck is down. B-18 just got overwhelmed by the T-34 and the Frontoviki. And Ayanami has not even picked a commander yet, so that's very intriguing. He's just relying entirely on Frontoviki so far. Just pushing through with them. There's just this one Grenadier squad, this open blitz in the rear. Nothing else is holding BH's front line, but he's moving up now with the 90th Panzer Grenadiers, armed with the MKB-42. So there's a command half-track by the looks of it. Oh, but this might be the end of the T-34 if that Panzer can get a good shot. Oh, but the hedgerows are in the way. And there we go. One shot is all it takes.
We are suffering vehicle losses.
We have another Panzerjäger here. And the Panzer Grenadiers. These guys should prove to be very lethal with that new weapon of theirs. Ah, but here's another Soviet push. Right into the Osttruppen, but the Osttruppen have Panzerfausts. But he's not using them. There's one. Oh, but it didn't destroy the tank. That's a dead Osttruppen.
Infantry squad has been killed.
Oh, but General set up a Panther turn. That's going to allow him to hold this area against vehicles really well. This is going to be a very hard position to take. But the Soviets are trying to flank, but they're getting in range of the machine gun coming the rear. Running straight into EBSA-21 fire. That's a grenade. Oh, that was a deadly grenade.
We are suffering losses.
The Soviets need to repair that T-34 again.
Engineers ready for assignment.
Meanwhile, the Germans have retaken the town here that I missed. Yeah, the Panther term is already starting to show its worth.
The enemy has destroyed one of our vehicles.
T-34 coming out for Ayanami. Ayanami really needs to pick a commander so he can support his ally better. Oh, we have the Germans making a little bit of a mechanized push here. Panzer Grenadiers supporting the command half track alongside the Panzerjäger. And to secure some ground. So let's try to dig in with a bunker here. Looks like Iron Army is going up to the full tech now. That's going to allow him to possibly get some better equipment. That is a death zone to get into, but the T-34 might be able to change it. Oh yeah, the T-34 is already showing its worth again. Oh, they have assists free. Ah, the Germans laid a minefield. Very smart. Well, that Panther term's doing good, but it's actually taking a lot of damage. Might not last much longer. I assume this shock mortar has done a lot of the work. And they're trying to immediately try and get the thing repaired as fast as possible. Makes sense. Oh, it's actually an army taking up. He's gonna be disappointed because he needs to pick a commander before anything appears in the final structure.
The enemy has cut off a sector.
Oh, and now the Germans have cut off the fuel sector by decapping this.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Mark moving back. You have more Funsificate coming in from Iron Army. And the T-34 of Draki is moving up now. Well, it looks like that we have a Panzer IV arriving for the Germans. Still no vehicles from Shadow, but BH-18's Panzer IV should allow them to give them something of a fighting chance against the T-34s. Oh, might be a dead Panzer Grenadier squad. The shipment of Volksgrenadiers here is proving to be quite a hard nut to crack. Now he's not going to be able to get anything from that until he picks the commander. Soviets are trying to make a push on the other way though. So they're pushing the southern flank a lot harder. Volksgrenadiers desperately trying to hold that hill. Soviets have to be very careful where they move that T-34. That Panther term is really deadly. Got the Panzer IV-H coming up. Soviets securing the southern flank. Oh, they took down the Panther term. Very nice job with the Sis-3.
The enemy is trying to destroy a structure.
T-34 can move a little bit without issues. Oh, and flanking the Panzer IV! Oh, now that is deadly. But the Panzerjäger is there. And then followed by the Panzerfaust.
Another vehicle has been lost in the defense of the Rodina.
But the Soviets are pushing the other flank heavily. Still no commander for Iron Army. Despite not having a commander, he did do a lot of good early on. But he really needs to learn to pick a commander in this mod. And it just shows how versatile the Soviets are.
Another infantry squad.
They're now threatening the Germans by encirclement almost. Another T-34 is present. Now that's going to be a bad position though, because that's going to run straight into another Panzerjäger. And all it take... Oh, it missed though! The stolen bazooka is there though. That's going to get them in range of a Panzerfaust. We have a T-70 coming out for Draki now. A little bit of not a choice I'd have done. I would probably have saved up for something heavier. Yes, shock after all. The Panzer IV-H is operational again. Mthis is getting up close to the Grenadiers here. Grenadiers seem to have that advantage somehow thanks to the Panzer IV. Finding some covering fire. Now that T-34 is in trouble. The Panzer IV is moving to flank. Being quick about it.
God's troops ready for action.
Yeah, I think the German have that little engagement one. Pressing the T-34 straight into the building.
We have lost one of our armored vehicles.
Soviets are trying to dig in here.
One of our emplacements is under attack.
Looks like he might be trying to do an anti-tank grade attack on this Panzer IV. The Panzer IV's got to move away in time.
Forces capturing supply sector. More of our troops have been lost.
And army is getting very low on troops. Looks like Draki's doing a little bit better. Shadow is digging in further, putting up an 88 to cover this road. Yeah, no Soviet tank is getting through there. So put up a flak to cover this side. Cover that flank. Very smart. Might be very hard for the Soviets to push back from this, I think. Now BH is going to retake the town by the looks of it. Pulling up the Panzer IV. As long with a unit of Panzerjägers and some grenadiers. And with the bazooka they've stolen. Running straight into Russian infantry. We're not throwing the anti-tank grenades. Oh, there we go. They tried to throw it. It's not going to be enough. But those Panzerjägers are going to be in trouble.
The ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah, Ayama is down to practically nothing at this point.
Death before retreat.
Soviets are trying to moving to try and retake the town, though. That T-70 is not going to last long. That SIS-3 is also out in the open. The T-70 is surprisingly doing decent, actually. Sniping at the German infantry at range. I would not have expected it to actually be that efficient. And the Germans are going to need to pull out of the town after that. Don't have the infantry support.
Officer is awaiting orders.
We are awaiting.
Let's see. BH-18 is going for replacement Volksgrenadiers, I think? Yeah, he's going for replacement Volksgrenadiers. Shadow is still just dug in. He's got all his commanders. He called all his commanders in at once, wow. We got a Lieutenant, Hauptmann, and a Major, I think? Or whatever he's called. Soviets have once again retaken the town there. But they are starting to lose a lot of ground. That's double Gebaldeladung next to that bunker.
The enemy is trying to destroy a structure.
Oh yeah, the Soviets are not in a good position. I gotta give it to the Soviets, so they are pushing really well despite the situation. Ah, more mines. No, that's not mine. That was just some. Oh, but more mines have been laid here. Very smart.
We have a mortar team available for deployment.
That's gonna be a shock to the infantry and tanks when they move into the point. Let's try and keep a look on that. Because there's a tiller mine, so one tiller mine is all it needs. Boom! And while the T-70 is trying to do something here, which I don't think is a good idea.
One of our vehicles.
Enemy troops engaging us.
And the T-70 went down. Not looking bright for the Soviet Union today.
Engineer squad.
De-escalating mines was a very good move there to try and delay any push from the Russians again. Now his Volksgrenadiers are moving up. Oh, heavy mortar time from the Soviets. Now this can be serious. The heavy mortar is an exceptionally deadly weapon.
Mortar team
Germans have dug in really heavily though, and the pioneers are moving up again.
Infantry contact! Pioneers for enemy casualties!
Ooh. Yeah, he's going for another Gebalterladnung.
We have casualties.
That's all it takes. But yeah, an army is just barely has anything left. It's gonna be up to Draki to try and pull this back.
Supply
But he
sector
needs to
under
get some
attack.
more shock infantry, I think. Possibly get
One of our
the
emplacements is under attack.
third army the third army Frontoviki from the capital building, HQ building. That might be a good choice. But two heavy mortars. That is a lot of firepower. Fury, as he decides to hit with that, is gonna be devastated.
The sector is at risk. Men, on me.
Shock officer there.
T-34 here.
The 18 is laying more mines, being very smart to know and knowing how to deal with the Ayan army's approach. We also have a Stuk coming in. Still no vehicles from BH. From Shadow, I mean. And now the heavy mortars are starting to land. Panzerfaust coming in.
We are suffering.
The Soviets are not doing that well, but the heavy mortars could change this somewhat. We'll have to see. Oh yeah, the heavy mortars are definitely shelling that hill. We also have two SU-76s coming out. It looks like Draki's going for the full-on artillery approach this time. Try and deal with the German positions. Ooh! That's the power of the heavy mortar right there. Oh, we see a Soviet headquarters set up here. Forward headquarters. Very fascinating.
Yes, comrade!
Yes, you
Ah, we have an elephant coming out from Shadow. Going a little bit heavy, aren't we? We now have a Stuk 3A. Gonna help get some cheap armor up.
We have finished building the bunker. Yes, comrade.
I need to keep these heavy mortars firing though. Slowly destroying anything that can be used as cover. Yeah, those heavy mortars are really scary.
6 assault guns standing by.
Well, that HU-76 needs to be careful. Oh, destroyed the command half-track! Not sure what that HU-76 is doing. Not sure, but it gave the Germans time to hit
We
it.
have lost one of our armored vehicles. The enemy is taking what we have secured.
Germans are trying to take the fuel point there again. They're slowly tightening the noose on the Russian position. We really need to see if those heavy mortars play out though. Because they really need to play out in order for them to have a win here. More barrages are coming in though. That's just a normal mortar right there. These are the heavy mortars.
An elephant tank destroyer is ready to be deployed.
That's sector artillery, I believe. So there's some counter barrages coming in from the Germans. This is gonna hurt.
Yes, comrade.
Oh, but he's actually pulling through. Okay. But the Soviets are doing okay despite their little position currently. But Ayanami really needs to pick a commander and step up. Well, the Draki Ayanami has been very aggressive despite not picking a commander. But Shadow is preparing though by pulling the 88 to point this direction. He knows the tank is coming.
We are losing a sector.
Sandbag's done for now.
Pulling artillery on it as well. He just needs to get an angle where he can shoot it with the 88 and it's dead. Ooh, that hurt me. Shot immobilized it. Didn't do much else though. Meanwhile, it looks like BH is moving up with the Stuk and the Volksgrenadiers. Oh, but one heavy mortar shot is all it takes. That killed that entire squad. And now we're getting the third army. Third shock army. So that's gonna be very interesting. Now we have some replacement troops coming in from the Soviet.
Fresh Guards troops are standing by.
He needs to arm that thing with high explosives. He's not gonna do much in this situation.
Shock troops have arrived.
Soviet mortars have already begun their shelling. And it already starts to actually show a little bit of an impact, but it's not gonna be enough. I think it's a little bit too late. We also have the Germans coming with a Panther soon. The Soviets are even more in a bad position.
Shock troops here. Guard squad ready. We are ready for anything.
Boom! You can just feel the shelling.
What do you need?
See and feel it. Hopefully it'll be enough to give the Soviets some kind of a way of making a comeback, shall we see? They're definitely getting shut up though if they move out here. The Flak 2 is just gonna make this very impossible. And we have an Elephant plus an 88. That's basically two 88s covering that area. We have an artillery barrage coming in there. The Elephant is not really gonna have much of a threat here currently. There's not a lot of anti-tank equipment on the Russian side right now. Even the Panzer IV H is starting to move up.
Panzer Grenadiers standing by.
I think with how Ayanami is building, he should probably have gone for Rifle Company or Tank Company, I think. Tank Corps could probably have worked well because of all the T-54s he's using.
Guards troops ready for action.
But the heavy mortars are still shelling.
T-34 ready for action.
Ready.
They're only getting more and more kills.
Hands up and down on us. Yes, comrade. What do you
Did he lose one of the heavy mortars? He might have. The Germans are trying to entrench the Panzer IV H right here. Make it cover the front line. Oh, but one heavy mortar shot is all it takes.
Infantry squad has been killed.
That was actually not a heavy mortar, that was just a normal mortar shot, I think.
Panzer IV standing by.
But here we have the Panther.
Yes, comrade.
Soviets are not doing too hard, but they're holding on. But the Soviets are out of munitions. The heavy mortar barrages are gonna have to cease.
Defense of the Rodina.
With the Panther up, the Germans do not have much. There's not much threat to the Germans, tank-wise. And I do not like that blopping Ayanami is doing. That's not gonna work well, I think. Oh, now the mortar is in range of the German counter barrages. With the Panther coming up there, Germans should be able to push. We have a huge push coming from the Soviets into the town. I do not think this is going to be enough, because the Stuk is entrenched. That's actually entrenched in a very good position. That's very little can flank it.
Rocket vehicle has arrived.
But here's an anti-tank raid. That's all they needed to do. That immediately destroyed the gun. That bunker is still present. And one anti-tank raid, it was enough to destroy that. Huh. Good to know. Got the pan for though. Ooh, a good shot. They actually jammed the turrets. Oh, but I can still move. Oh, its animation is glitched. Because it's showing it's in French, but it actually isn't. But the pan for there. If I can get a shot on the T-54, it's dead. The elephant is moving. A risky move, I'd say. They have a Panzerwerfer firing too. Probably aimed around here. Oh, aim for the town. Mostly missed though, but destroyed a lot of the town. And the Germans are pushing up now to end it. At least trying to. Part of me just hopes Iron Army will pick a commander at some point and get something out that can change this. Oh! The elephant got the T-54 there. We have naval Werfers coming in. We can hear them running in the background. Very wide barrage though. They not really do that much, I'd say. Actually hit the Germans a little bit. And all the mines that's been laid is really stopping Iron Army in his tracks. But Draki seems to think it's done. There's not much else he can do. I assume they might be trying to surrender, but I have a feeling Iron Army is the one refusing. Germans just need to push into the Soviet base and end it. Which is easier said than done. But the Germans have the equipment and the men to do it. Oh, that's not a good move. That's not a good move for the T-4. It's gonna die. Yeah, tanks are not gonna help you much in this situation, man. Not T-34s anyway. I think we can speed a little bit up at this point. Doesn't look like the Soviets can do much. Oh boy, we have a battle group coming in. Looks like the Soviet Marines have been called in. The Soviet Naval Infantry. Let's see if they can do something to slow down the German. I somewhat doubt it, but you never know. They need to dismount. Oh, that happens.
The enemy has destroyed one of our vehicles.
There we go, dismounting him. Good. No retreat, no surrender. But all the machine gun fire here is just too much for the Soviets to push up on. And here comes the Volksgrenadier Swarm with the PPSHs. I also heard a Panzerwerfer firing in. Yeah, I think this is it for the Soviets. Yeah, not much is happening. Just push in, Germans. You can do it. And seriously, what's gonna stop them? Nothing.
A squad of infantry has been killed. Death before retreat. Guards troops ready for action. Our headquarters is taking enemy fire.
But I assume the Russians are, or at least Iron Army is planning to fight to the very end by the looks of it. Yeah, the Germans are just slowly pushing and nothing is stopping them.
We are losing.
Well, surprisingly, they're doing a lot of damage to the Panther.
Trying to destroy a structure.
Yeah, I think it's just Ayanami refusing to give up.
Standing by.
We can basically tell the outcome easily.
Our HQ is under attack.
So this is a victory for the Germans by the looks of it.
Enemy has killed another
And a big one too. Yeah, I'd say Ayanami did okay despite not having a commander, but he really needs to pick one next time. Picking a commander is essential in Spearhead.
Our HQ is under attack. We have a new team.
I'm also surprised the tenacity of Ayanami though. But I would say a good game from the German players and Draki. Draki it really did well despite the situation he was in. Ayanami may have been a little bit of a handicap for Draki, making it harder for him to do much. But still, it was a fascinating fight. And I hope you will agree that this was okay to watch. Anyway, I will see you all in the next one, everyone. Bye bye!